I'm 80 years old, and I need to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. For 52 years of my life, I believed that hard work would save me, that being indispensable would make me worthy, that if I just gave enough, worked enough, sacrificed enough, I would finally be enough. I was wrong about everything. Something happened to me 3 years ago that shattered every belief I held about success, sacrifice, and what it means to be a good woman. I'm not telling you this because I want sympathy. I'm telling you this because you're probably making the same mistakes I made right now, today, as you're listening to this, and nobody told me the truth. Nobody grabbed me by the shoulders and said, "Margaret, you're wasting your life." So I'm going to be that person for you. I worked 70 hours a week for 40 years. 40 years. Do you understand what that means? I gave 280 extra hours every single year to a company that replaced me within 2 weeks of my retirement. I missed my children's school plays. I missed dinners with my husband. I missed my own life. And for what? A retirement party with a generic cake and a watch I never wear. I built a career that everyone admired. I had the corner office. I had the respect. I had the title. But I didn't have my daughter's forgiveness. I didn't have my husband's final years. I didn't have the memories that should have been mine. What I'm about to share with you isn't comfortable. It isn't pretty, but it's the truth. And the truth might save you 50 years of regret. 3 years ago, something happened that broke me open. I was 77 years old. It was a Tuesday morning, November 14th. I remember because it was exactly 2 years after my husband Robert passed away. I woke up in my beautiful house, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a kitchen I designed myself, and absolute silence. I walked downstairs to make coffee, like I did every morning, and I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. I stopped. I stared at this woman looking back at me, white hair, tired eyes, wrinkles I had earned from decades of stress, and I realized something terrifying. I didn't recognize her, not really. Who was this woman? What did she actually want? What made her laugh? What were her dreams? I had no idea. I stood there for what felt like an hour, just staring at this stranger in the mirror. And then my phone rang. It was my daughter, Susan. She's 54 now. We talk maybe once a month. Polite conversations about weather and her job. Nothing real, nothing deep. She called to tell me something. "Mom, I just wanted you to know I'm in therapy now. I've been going for 2 years." I said, "That's wonderful, honey." And then she said the words that destroyed me. "I'm working through a lot of things. Things about my childhood, about you, about how I never felt like I was important enough to make you stay." I couldn't breathe. "What do you mean?" I asked. "Mom, you were never there, not really. Even when you were physically home, you were on your laptop, on conference calls, thinking about work. I spent my entire childhood trying to earn your attention, and I never could. Silence. I don't say this to hurt you," she continued, "but I need you to know that your absence shaped me. I became a workaholic too, and it almost destroyed my marriage. I'm 54 years old, and I'm just now learning that I'm allowed to have needs." I sat down on the kitchen floor. My legs just gave out. My daughter had spent her whole life believing she wasn't enough, because I made her feel that way, because I was too busy being successful to be present. That night I couldn't sleep. I pulled out old photo albums, pictures of Susan's birthdays I left early, school performances I missed entirely, graduations where I was checking my phone. There was one photo that shattered me. Susan, age 8, holding a homemade Mother's Day card. She's smiling, but I can see it now. The uncertainty in her eyes. The hope that this time, maybe this card, would be enough to make me stay home. I was at a conference that Mother's Day. I remember it now. I thought I was building a better future for her. I was wrong. That phone call was my catalyst. Not a heart attack, not a diagnosis, just the voice of my only child, telling me that my success cost her a mother. And that's when I realized I had wasted my life chasing things that never mattered. Let me take you back. I was 25 when I started my career, bright-eyed, ambitious, determined. I told myself, I'll work hard now and enjoy life later. At 30, I got my first promotion. I thought, when I make senior manager, then I'll slow down. So I waited. At 35, I became senior manager. I thought, when I'm a director, then I'll have more flexibility. So I waited. At 42, I became a director. I thought, when I'm VP, then I'll finally have control of my schedule. So I waited. At 50, I became vice president. I thought, when I retire, then I'll spend time with my family. So I waited, again and again and again. For 40 years, I chased a finish line that kept moving. Every time I reached a goal, there was another goal, another mountain, another achievement to unlock. And while I was climbing, my life was passing me by. My daughter grew up without me. My husband waited for a wife who was always too busy. My health deteriorated. From stress, I told myself was temporary. I missed Susan's first steps because I was at a meeting. I missed her first words because I was on a flight. I missed her high school graduation party because a client needed me. A client. I don't even remember that client's name now, but I remember my daughter's face when I told her I couldn't make it. The disappointment, the resignation, like she expected it, because she did. I had taught her to expect nothing from me. My husband Robert begged me to slow down. "Margaret, you're going to burn out," he said. "We have enough money. Take a break." But I couldn't. I didn't know how to stop. My worth was tied to my productivity. If I wasn't working, I wasn't valuable. If I wasn't achieving, I was failing. This is what I believed for 52 years. And here's what I got for it: a beautiful house that echoes with emptiness, a retirement account I barely touch, a daughter who keeps me at arm's length, and memories I can never get back. I had the career, I had the money, I had the respect, but I didn't have my husband's final years. He died 3 years after I retired. 3 years. I gave my company 40 years of my life. I gave Robert 3, and by then we'd forgotten how to be together. We sat in the same room like strangers. We didn't know how to talk anymore. We didn't know how to just be. 40 years of waiting. And when I finally stopped, it was too late. Let me tell you about the biggest lies I believed. Maybe you believe them too. Lie number 1. I have time. This is the most dangerous lie of all. I have time. I'll do it later. When things calm down. When the project is finished. When the kids are older. When I retire. Let me save you 52 years of regret with one truth. That day never comes. Things never calm down. There's always another project, another deadline, another reason to wait. I waited for someday my entire life, and someday never showed up. My husband is gone, my daughter barely knows me, and I'm 80 years old wondering where my life went. You think you have unlimited tomorrows. You don't. Nobody does. Lie number 2, success will make me happy. Here's something nobody tells you. Success is a terrible goal. I say this as someone who achieved everything I set out to achieve. Corner office, check. 6-figure salary, check. Industry awards, check. Respect of my peers, check. And you know what? None of it mattered. Not one bit. When Robert died, my awards didn't comfort me. When Susan told me she felt abandoned, my salary didn't fix it. When I sat alone on Christmas, my job title didn't keep me company. Success is an empty promise. It says, achieve this and you'll be fulfilled. But the goalposts keep moving. There's always more to achieve, more to prove, more to chase. I spent 40 years on a hamster wheel, running and running and running, and I ended up exactly where I started, nowhere. Lie number 3, being indispensable makes me worthy. I believed that if I was needed, I was valuable. If I was the one who solved problems, I mattered. If I was irreplaceable at work, I was important. So I made myself indispensable. I never took vacation. I answered emails at midnight. I sacrificed weekends, holidays, my daughter's birthdays. And you know what happened when I retired? They replaced me in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 40 years of sacrifice. Gone. The company didn't collapse. My clients found other people. Life went on. I was never indispensable. I just told myself that lie to justify my choices. Lie number 4, I'm doing this for my family. This might be the cruelest lie of all. I told myself I worked so hard for them, for Susan's future, for Robert's comfort, for our security. But here's the truth. I worked for myself, for my ego, for my identity. I didn't know who I was without my career, and I was too scared to find out. I hid behind providing for my family, but my family didn't need my money. They needed me, and I wasn't there. Is that the legacy you want? Are you telling yourself the same lies? Are you sacrificing today for a tomorrow that may never come? You know what keeps me up at night? Not the deals I didn't close, not the promotions I missed, not the projects that failed. No. What haunts me are the moments I can never get back. Let me tell you about them. The dance recital. Susan was 7 years old. She had practiced for months. Every day after school, she would twirl around the living room, showing me her routine. Mommy, will you be there? Promise you'll be there? I promised. I meant it. But the day of her recital, a crisis happened at work. A major client threatened to leave. My boss needed me. I called Robert from the office. Tell Susan I'm so sorry. I'll make it up to her. That night when I came home, Susan was already asleep. She had waited up for me, but I was too late. Robert showed me the video. My little girl on stage scanning the audience, looking for me. Her smile fading when she couldn't find my face. She never asked me to come to another recital, not once. I didn't notice at the time. I was too busy. The trip to Paris. Robert and I talked about going to Paris for 30 years. 30 years. Next year, we always said. When work slows down, he bought French language tapes. We had a jar where we saved spare change for the Paris fund. We never went. After he died, I found the jar in his closet. It had $847 in it and a note he had written. For Paris, with Margaret, someday. Someday never came. I went to Paris alone last year. I scattered some of his ashes at the Eiffel Tower, and I cried like I've never cried before. We had the money, we had the means, we just didn't have the time. Because I wouldn't make the time. The last conversation with my mother. My mother died when I was 58. She had been sick for months. I visited when I could, which wasn't often. The last time I saw her, she held my hand. Margaret, she said, I'm proud of you, but I worry. You work too hard. You're missing your life, sweetheart. I smiled. I'm fine, Mom. Don't worry about me. 2 weeks later, she was gone. I was on a business trip when she passed, a business trip. I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to tell her I loved her one more time. I didn't get to thank her for everything. Because I was in a conference room in Chicago discussing quarterly projections. Quarterly projections. My mother was dying and I was talking about numbers. The book I never wrote. I always wanted to write a novel. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of being an author. I had notebooks full of ideas, characters I created, stories I wanted to tell, but I never had time. When I retire, I told myself, I'll write then. I retired at 67. I sat down to write, and nothing came. The creativity I had suppressed for 40 years had dried up. The stories I wanted to tell had faded. The characters I loved had disappeared. I killed my own dreams with my own hands by waiting. The words I never said. I never told Robert I was sorry. Not really. Not the deep, honest apology he deserved. For all the dinners I missed. For all the anniversaries I forgot. For all the times I chose work over him. I thought we had time. I thought I would make it up to him in retirement. But by the time I retired, he was already sick. And then he was gone, and I never got to say the words that mattered. I'm sorry. I was wrong. You deserved better. Thank you for staying. He stayed, you know. Through all of it. He stayed. And I never thanked him properly. These are my regrets, not abstract ideas, real moments, real failures, real pain. Every single day I live with these ghosts, and I'm telling you about them for one reason, so you don't create your own. After that phone call with Susan, something shifted. I was 77 years old. Most people would say my life was over, but I decided it was just beginning. For the first time in 52 years, I asked myself a question. What do I actually want? Not what my boss wanted, not what society expected, not what I thought a successful woman should want. What did Margaret want? It took me months to figure it out, because I had spent so long ignoring my own needs. I didn't even know what they were. I started small. I stopped answering my phone immediately. I let calls go to voicemail. The world didn't end. I started saying no. To committees I didn't care about, to events that drained me, to obligations I only agreed to out of guilt. The world didn't end. I started painting, something I hadn't done since high school. I was terrible at first, but it didn't matter. I wasn't trying to be successful. I was trying to feel alive. I reached out to Susan. Not to defend myself, not to explain, just to listen. I'm sorry, I told her. I failed you, and I want to understand. It was the hardest conversation of my life. She told me things that broke my heart, how she felt invisible, how she thought my career was more important than her, how she spent decades trying to earn my approval. I listened. I didn't make excuses. I just listened. And slowly, painfully, we started to rebuild. We're not perfect now. We still have awkward silences. We still have old wounds that haven't fully healed. But we're trying. For the first time in decades, we're actually trying. I'm 80 years old now. I've been living for myself for only 3 years. 3 years out of 80. And you know what? These have been the happiest 3 years of my life. I wake up without an alarm. I paint terrible paintings that make me smile. I call Susan every week. I take walks without checking my phone. I read books in the middle of the day. I do nothing productive sometimes, and it feels like freedom. This is what I traded for 40 years of my life. This feeling, this peace. Was it worth it? The career, the money, the success? No. Not even close. Now I need to talk directly to you. Yes, you, the one listening to this right now. Maybe you're in your car. Maybe you're at the gym. Maybe you're lying in bed, scrolling on your phone. Wherever you are, I need you to hear this. Really hear it. If you died tomorrow, would you be satisfied? Not, would your obituary sound impressive? Not, did you achieve enough to make people proud? Just this. Would you be satisfied with the life you've lived so far? Think about it. Really think. If your heart stopped right now, would you have regrets? Things you always meant to do? People you meant to call? Words you meant to say? I know what you're probably thinking. But I have responsibilities. But I have bills to pay. But I can't just quit my job. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to abandon your responsibilities. I'm telling you to stop sacrificing everything. There's a difference between working hard and losing yourself. There's a difference between being dedicated and being absent. There's a difference between providing for your family and abandoning them. I crossed that line. I didn't even notice when I crossed it, but I did. And by the time I realized it, 40 years had passed. 40 years. Gone. Like smoke. Are you crossing that line right now? Are you telling yourself just a few more years? Are you promising your kids next time I'll be there? Are you putting off your dreams until someday? Let me tell you something. Your children don't need more money. They need you. Your spouse doesn't need a bigger house. They need your presence. Your dreams don't need the perfect timing. They need you to start now, today, not tomorrow, not next year, not when things calm down. Now, I'm 80 years old. I might have 5 years left. I might have 5 months. I might have 5 days. Nobody knows. And neither do you. You think you're different. You think you have time. You think your body is strong and your health is good, and death is something that happens to other people. I thought that too. At 40, at 50, at 60, and suddenly I was 80, and my husband was gone, and my daughter barely knew me, and my life was almost over. Time moves faster than you think, and it doesn't care about your plans. The question is, what are you going to do about it? If I could go back and talk to my 25-year-old self, here's what I would say. Stop. Stop trying to prove your worth through productivity. Stop canceling plans because of work. Stop saying yes to every demand on your time. Stop believing that rest is laziness. Stop putting your health last. Stop waiting for permission to live. Stop telling yourself you have unlimited time. Stop sacrificing today for a tomorrow that may never come. Stop hiding behind, I'm doing this for my family. Stop ignoring the people who love you. Start leaving work on time. Start taking your vacation days. Start saying no without guilt. Start putting your phone away during dinner. Start asking yourself what you actually want. Start prioritizing experiences over achievements. Start telling people you love them. Start now, not tomorrow, not Monday, not next month, now. Here's my advice. If you want to take that trip, book it. Don't wait until you have more money or more time or fewer responsibilities. The perfect moment doesn't exist. It never will. If you want to spend more time with your kids, do it. Leave the office early, miss the meeting. Let someone else handle the crisis. Your kids won't remember your job title. They'll remember whether you were there. If you want to repair a relationship, call them. Today, right now. Don't let pride or fear or busyness stop you. People die, relationships end, and you'll never get the chance again. If you want to pursue a dream, start. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need anyone's permission. Just start. 15 minutes a day. One small step. If you're exhausted and burnt out, stop. Take the sick day. Take the mental health day. Take the break you desperately need. The company will survive without you, I promise. Your life is happening right now. Not in the future. Not when you retire. Not when things calm down. Right now. This moment. Are you living it? Or are you watching it pass by while you answer emails? I'm 80 now. I've been living for myself for only 3 years. 3 years out of 80. That's 3.75% of my life. The rest was spent chasing things that didn't matter, climbing ladders that led nowhere, sacrificing everything for nothing. And these 3 years, these have been the best years of my life. Isn't that tragic? Isn't that heartbreaking? The best years of my life came after I had almost nothing left. No career, no husband, no health, just time, and the wisdom to finally use it. I would give anything to have those 40 years back, to have started living for myself at 30 instead of 77, to have watched my daughter grow up instead of missing it, to have traveled with Robert when he was healthy, to have written the books I dreamed about, to have been present, actually present, for my own life, but I can't go back. None of us can. All I can do is tell you my story and hope you learn from my mistakes. The irony is this: when you understand that time is limited, you start to actually live. You stop wasting it. You stop postponing joy. You stop waiting for permission. You start creating the life you want. I found freedom at 77. You can find it now. Today, at whatever age you are, you don't have to wait until you lose everything. You don't have to wait until someone you love dies. You don't have to wait until you're 80 years old with nothing but regrets. You can choose differently. Starting now, you have a choice. Right now, today, you can keep living the way you're living. Keep chasing success. Keep sacrificing your relationships. Keep telling yourself, someday. Keep waiting for the perfect moment. Or you can wake up. You can realize that time is running out faster than you think. You can understand that the life you're waiting to live needs to start now. The people you love won't wait forever. Your body won't stay healthy forever. Your dreams won't wait patiently until you're ready. Time moves in one direction, forward, and it doesn't slow down for anyone. I spent 40 years working 70 hours a week, and it was a total waste. Not because work doesn't matter, but because I let it consume everything else. My marriage, my daughter, my health, my dreams, my life. Don't make my mistake. Don't wake up at 80 years old and realize you missed everything. Don't stand at your husband's grave wishing you had more time. Don't hear your daughter say she felt invisible. Don't look in the mirror and see a stranger. Choose differently. Starting today. Someday is today. It always has been. The permission you're waiting for, I'm giving it to you now. Live your life. Take the trip. Make the call. Say the words. Chase the dream. Be present. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do with your time? If this resonated with you, I hope you'll share it. Not for me, but for every person who needs to hear this before it's too late. Subscribe to this channel. I have more truths to share, and honestly, I don't have much time left. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Tell me what you're going to stop waiting for. Tell me what changes you're going to make. I read every comment, every single one, and your stories give me hope. Hope that my mistakes weren't completely wasted. Hope that someone out there is choosing a different path. Hope that this message actually matters. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. It's the most precious thing you have. Don't waste it like I did. Go live now, today.